Welcome to our channel. Today, we're discussing one of the most perilous aspects of political life, the assassination attempts on U.S. presidents. From the tragic assassination of Abraham Lincoln to the recent attempt on Donald Trump.
Take a look at what happened. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood.
We will explore the history, motives, and impacts of these attacks on American political life. On July 13, 2024, the world was shocked when former U.S. President Donald Trump was nearly assassinated during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. This event marked one of the most severe security breaches in recent history and highlighted the ongoing challenges faced by the U.S. Secret Service. But Trump's experience is just one chapter in a long and often dark history of assassination attempts on American presidents. Abraham Lincoln. The Secret Service, tasked with protecting the president, was created in 1865 by Abraham Lincoln. Interestingly, the primary mission of the Secret Service at its inception was to combat currency counterfeiting, a significant issue during that era. Tragically, Lincoln was assassinated the very same year by John Wilkes Booth, a well-known actor and Confederate sympathizer. Booth's motive was rooted in his firm belief in the Southern cause and his vehement opposition to Lincoln's policies, particularly the abolition of slavery. On April 14, 1865, while attending a play at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., Lincoln was shot in the back of the head by Booth. The president succumbed to his injuries the following day, on April 15, 1865. Lincoln's assassination shocked the nation and underscored the vulnerability of America's leaders, leading to an outpouring of grief and a reassessment of presidential security measures. James A. Garfield. James A. Garfield, the 20th President of the United States, faced a similar tragic fate. Garfield was assassinated in 1881 by Charles J. Guiteau, a disgruntled office seeker who believed he was owed a diplomatic post. Guiteau was a mentally unstable individual who had been denied a position in Garfield's administration. He believed that killing Garfield would lead to his desired appointment and unite the Republican Party, which was divided at the time. On July 2, 1881, Guiteau shot Garfield at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad Station in Washington, D.C. Garfield suffered for weeks from his injuries before finally succumbing to infections and complications from the wounds on September 19, 1881. Garfield's death exposed the need for better security measures and led to the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act, an act aimed at curbing corruption and promoting merit-based appointments in federal employment. William McKinley. The third sitting president to be assassinated was William McKinley in 1901. McKinley was killed by anarchist Leon Czolgosz during a public event in Buffalo, New York. Czolgosz, who harbored deep resentment towards government institutions and was inspired by anarchist ideals, saw McKinley as a symbol of oppression and sought to make a statement by killing him. On September 6, 1901, while attending the Pan American Exposition at the Temple of Music, McKinley was shot twice by Czolgosz, who had concealed his weapon under a handkerchief. Despite initial optimism regarding his recovery, McKinley's condition worsened due to gangrene, and he passed away on September 14, 1901. McKinley's assassination led to the establishment of the Secret Service's current mandate to protect American presidents and other political leaders. Teddy Roosevelt. Even after the Secret Service assumed its protective duties, several assassination attempts proved successful or nearly so. One of the most famous incidents involved Theodore Teddy Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States. In 1912, while campaigning for a third term under the Progressive Party, also known as the Bull Moose Party, Roosevelt was shot by John Schrank, a saloonkeeper from New York. On October 14, 1912, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Schrank approached Roosevelt and fired a single shot from a .38 caliber revolver. Remarkably, the bullet was slowed by a 50-page speech manuscript and a metal glasses case in Roosevelt's breast pocket, preventing it from reaching his vital organs. Despite being wounded and bleeding, Roosevelt famously insisted on delivering his scheduled speech, speaking for nearly 90 minutes before seeking medical attention. His resilience and determination were emblematic of his robust personality and left a lasting impression on the public. Roosevelt's survival without immediate medical intervention was nothing short of miraculous and highlighted the constant peril faced by sitting presidents. Franklin D. Roosevelt. In 1933, President-elect Franklin D. Roosevelt narrowly escaped an assassination attempt that underscored the dangers political leaders faced even before taking office. On February 15, 1933, in Miami, Florida, Giuseppe Zangara, an Italian immigrant with anarchist sympathies, fired 5 shots at Roosevelt while he was delivering a speech from the back of an open car. Although FDR was unharmed, the attack resulted in the death of Chicago Mayor Anton Cermak, who was standing near Roosevelt, and injuries to 4 others. Zangara, who blamed his personal misfortunes on politicians and the wealthy, later claimed that his initial target was actually Roosevelt. This near miss highlighted the vulnerability of political figures and the lengths to which individuals would go to express their grievances. The incident had a profound impact on Roosevelt, who demonstrated remarkable composure and concern for the wounded, particularly Mayor Cermak. The attack emphasized the constant danger faced by political leaders and led to heightened security measures for the president-elect and other high-profile figures. Harry S. Truman. In 1950, an audacious assassination attempt targeted President Harry S. Truman at his temporary residence, Blair House, across from the White House. On November 1st, 2 Puerto Rican nationalists, Oscar Collazo and Griselio Torresola, stormed the residence with the intention of killing Truman. The attackers were motivated by a desire to draw attention to the cause of Puerto Rican independence from U.S. rule. The assault resulted in a fierce gunfight with Secret Service agents and police, right outside Blair House. Torresola critically injured White House policeman Leslie Caufelt, who, despite being mortally wounded, managed to kill Torresola. Collazo was wounded and captured. Truman, who was upstairs taking a nap, remained unharmed. This incident was a stark reminder of the ever-present threat to the president's life and underscored the need for heightened security measures. John F. Kennedy. The most infamous and tragic assassination in American history occurred on November 22, 1963, when President John F. Kennedy was killed in Dallas, Texas. As Kennedy's motorcade passed through Dealey Plaza, he was fatally shot by a sniper. Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested for the crime, but he was killed 2 days later by nightclub owner Jack Ruby, sparking numerous conspiracy theories. Kennedy's assassination is often cited as the Secret Service's most glaring failure. The event led to a complete overhaul of presidential security protocols, including the introduction of the Presidential Protection Division and the implementation of more rigorous training and planning for protective details. The tragic loss of JFK had a profound emotional impact on the nation and led to an increased emphasis on the safety of the president. Robert F. Kennedy. 5 years after JFK's assassination, his younger brother, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, was also assassinated. On June 5, 1968, RFK was shot multiple times by Sirhan Sirhan, a 24-year-old Palestinian, in the kitchen pantry of the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. RFK had just given a victory speech after winning the California Democratic primary. At the time, the Secret Service did not protect presidential candidates. RFK's assassination led to the extension of Secret Service protection to major presidential candidates, recognizing the inherent risks they faced during campaigns. This change was crucial in ensuring the safety of future candidates and marked a significant expansion of the Secret Service's responsibilities. Gerald Ford. President Gerald Ford faced 2 back-to-back assassination attempts in California in 1975, highlighting the constant threat to the lives of U.S. presidents. The first attempt occurred on September 5, 1975, in Sacramento, California. Lynette "Squeaky" Fromm, a member of the infamous Manson family, approached Ford with a .45 caliber pistol. Fromm managed to get within arm's reach of the president near the California state capitol. She aimed the pistol at Ford and pulled the trigger, but the gun failed to fire because she had not chambered a round. Secret Service agents quickly subdued her before she could attempt to fire again. Fromm's motive was to bring attention to environmental issues and the plight of the redwoods. Just 17 days later, on September 22, 1975, another attempt on Ford's life took place in San Francisco. Sarah Jane Moore, a political radical who had been under FBI surveillance, fired a single shot at Ford from across the street. The bullet missed Ford's head by mere inches, striking a wall and injuring a bystander. A bystander, Oliver Sipple, managed to grab Moore's arm as she fired, preventing her from taking a second, possibly fatal shot. Moore later stated that she had hoped the assassination would trigger a revolution. These incidents highlighted the persistent danger to sitting presidents and the need for enhanced security measures. The rapid succession of attempts on Ford's life underscored the importance of vigilance and the constant threats faced by those in the highest office. Ronald Reagan. In 1981, Ronald Reagan faced one of the most severe assassination attempts on a sitting president since JFK. The attempt on Reagan's life led to further enhancements in Secret Service procedures and training. On March 30, 1981, John Hinckley Jr., a mentally unstable man obsessed with actress Jodie Foster, attempted to assassinate Reagan outside the Washington Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. Hinckley fired 6 shots from a .22 caliber revolver, one of which ricocheted off the presidential limousine and struck Reagan in the chest, puncturing a lung and narrowly missing his heart. 3 others were wounded in the attack: Press Secretary James Brady, Secret Service agent Tim McCarthy, and police officer Thomas Delahanty. Reagan was rushed to George Washington University Hospital, where he underwent emergency surgery. Despite the severity of his injuries, Reagan made a remarkable recovery and returned to his duties just a few weeks later. The incident marked the most severe attack on a sitting president since JFK and highlighted significant lapses in security. The attempt on Reagan's life led to substantial changes in Secret Service protocols. The agency implemented more rigorous training for agents, improved communication and coordination, and introduced new protective measures to better safeguard the president. The incident also led to the establishment of the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act, named in honor of James Brady, who was left permanently disabled by the attack. Recent attempts and scandals. While no sitting president has been seriously harmed since Reagan, there have been numerous attempts and near misses. In 1994, a man armed with an SKS rifle fired 29 rounds into the White House while President Bill Clinton was inside. Fortunately, no one was hurt, and the shooter was quickly apprehended. In 2005, President George W. Bush narrowly escaped an assassination attempt during a visit to Georgia. A man in the crowd threw a Soviet-made hand grenade wrapped in a handkerchief towards the podium where Bush was speaking. The grenade did not detonate, and the attacker was later sentenced to life in prison. During the Obama administration, the Secret Service faced several major scandals. In 2011, a man managed to fire a hail of bullets at the White House, hitting the upstairs residence where President Obama's daughter Sasha and mother-in-law were present. The incident went undetected for days, leading to significant criticism of the Secret Service. In 2014, an intruder armed with a knife managed to jump the White House fence and make it deep into the building before being apprehended. This incident, along with others, led to a House of Representatives inquiry into the Secret Service's conduct and a call for significant reforms. The attempt on Donald Trump. The recent assassination attempt on Donald Trump in 2024 during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, has once again brought the issue of presidential security to the forefront. The shooter, identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, managed to fire 8 shots at Trump from an elevated position, grazing his upper right ear. Despite substantial preparations, the Secret Service failed to prevent the shooter from getting into position. The attack raises several questions. 1. How did Crooks manage to get so close to the former president? 2. What was his motive? 3. How did the Secret Service fail so catastrophically? The history of assassination attempts on U.S. presidents is a sobering reminder of the constant danger faced by those in the highest office. Despite the Secret Service's significant resources and extensive training, the threat remains ever present. As we reflect on these events, it's clear that the protection of the president is a complex and challenging task. Each attempt, whether successful or not, has led to increased security measures and a re-evaluation of protocols. The recent attempt on Donald Trump will undoubtedly lead to further scrutiny and likely reforms within the Secret Service. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into historical events. Also, let us know in the comments which historical event you'd like us to cover next. Stay safe and stay informed.